Howdy YouTube, a really cool review for you today. Obviously, those who are MMA and UFC fans will be well aware this week is probably the most stacked UFC week of all time. Whether it be the Tough Enough final, the UFC 200 main card, the prelim cards, the Fight Pass cards, everything is stacked. And I cannot wait and to celebrate and I guess really be a part of, and as weird as that sounds, the Brock Lesnar return. I've picked up his fight kit from the UFC shop. So very keen to get this opened up out of packaging, see how it looks. It is the first fight kit I've purchased. The main reason I guess I picked this up was just to support Brock, hoping that he has a few more fights after this one. I'll break down my thoughts on the UFC 200 card, on how I think Lesnar's going to go as well. But for now, let's get this hoodie opened up and out of packaging. Okay, and here we've got the hoodie opened up and out of packaging. You're going to have to forgive me if this is a little bit of a messy review. I don't normally do this sort of stuff, as you'd know if you follow my channel. But it feels really nice. Like the material on it, I know Reebok have copped a lot of shit, but it does feel very nice. One thing that I think is very interesting is that the country logo on the side is, in fact, from Canada. Brock Lesnar, of course, NCAA champion, obviously American fighter. So for him to fight out of Canada is very interesting. I love the back. The Brock Lesnar on the back, I think, looks sick. Really pleased with how that turned out. So let's break down a little bit about the UFC 200 card. Well, initially, I was not a fan of the card. I really didn't think they had any good fights. They had great fights, but nothing where I was like, man, I need to see this live. I need to order the pay-per-view. And that's a real shame because the card was so stacked. But it was missing something special. And when they announced Brock and then they announced Mark Hunt, that sealed the deal for me. It's got me so much more excited for the card than I otherwise would have been. Okay, so breaking down the whole UFC 200 week, the first event is, of course, the Fox event, which is Dos Anjos and Alvarez. I think that's going to be a fantastic fight. RDA really impressed me against Cowboy Cerrone. Just a complete demolition and destruction of a really good fighter, Cowboy Cerrone. He looked good, especially moving up to welterweight. I would have loved to have seen RDA take on McGregor, and I guess he's got a little bit of punishment against Alvarez being put on Fight Pass rather than, or Fox Sports, I should say, rather than the main UFC 200 card, which he certainly deserves to be on. The other main fight in that card that I'm excited to see is Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, against Roy Nelson. For some reason, I cannot stand Roy Nelson, and I'm really hoping Derek Lewis can punish him a little bit. Then we've got the Ultimate Fighter finale. We've got Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Claudia Gadelha. That's a fight I'm very keen to see. Claudia destroyed Valerie Viterno, who went 5 rounds with Joanna, so that makes for a very exciting fight to see what happens with that. Ill Will Brooks as well, coming from Bellator against Ross Pearson. That's going to be an epic fight. I really liked him in Bellator, so I'm excited to see how he goes against the UFC competition and just see, I guess, the difference between Bellator and UFC caliber fighters. I think that'll be very exciting. You've also got Thiago Tavares on the card as well. Some really good fights. Gray Maynard. It should be an exciting event. Okay, now UFC 200. Before the main card, of course, we've got the prelims, and there's some great fighters on prelims. Interested to see how Sage Northcutt does, especially after his last loss. That was really abysmal and despicable. His complete lack of ground game. I lost a lot of respect for him, so I'm interested to see how he's rebounded. He's had a little bit of time off, so it should be interesting. TJ Dillashaw on a prelim card. Crazy again. That's going to be a great fight to see how he rebounds after losing the title. Johnny Hendricks, big rig. I love him. Hoping he can get the job done against Kelvin Gastelum. Then you've got Kat Zingano, Juliana Pena. That's going to be an epic fight. Kat hasn't fought, I don't think, since she lost to Rousey in what was a really bad performance by her. They say only fools rush in, and she charged Olympian judo practitioner, which certainly wasn't a smart tactic. Then we've got Cain Velasquez and Travis Brown, hoping Cain gets it done. I think that'll be a great fight. I think Travis is very underrated, very tall, very lanky, packs a good punch. And I'm interested to see how Cain has rebounded from that loss against Verdum as well. Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, that's going to be epic. They've fought a couple times before. Both times I'm pretty sure they've gone 5 rounds to the decision, with Jose getting on top. But hopefully it's Frankie's time. He's beaten pretty much everyone else in the division there is to beat. And he's, in my view, been long overdue for a title shot. I'm hoping he gets it done against Jose. Misha Tate, Amanda Nunes. Tate all the way on that one. I think Amanda Nunes is definitely a dangerous opponent. I think Misha just has a little bit of an edge over her. Then we get to, of course, the main fight that I'm interested in, and that is Brock Lesnar, Mark Hunt. Super Samoan, obviously Aussie, so I should be backing him, but I can't go past Brock. He really is a special attraction, a very rare athlete. I'm hoping he gets the job done. I think if he can take it to the ground, which will be very hard against a much leaner and much fitter, more conditioned Mark Hunt, I think Lesnar has an advantage, can lay in some good ground and pound. Having said that, though, all it takes is one punch from Mark Hunt, and I think Brock Lesnar will be dreaming that he's just won the WWE Championship once again. The final fight, Cormier, John Jones. I'm not really that excited for this fight. I feel that we've seen it. The build to the first fight was epic. I remember that was a long build, a lot of trash talking, a lot of energy from both sides. This one's just not the same. I don't think they've talked as much smack about each other. They've tried to more recently, but I feel that that's more just to hype up the fight rather than genuine hatred. Jones beat Cormier. Yes, his last fight against OSP, I think, was pretty disappointing by John Jones. So we'll see. I mean, he looks like he's put on a bit more muscle mass and he's a bit bulkier, which might be why he's a little bit slower speed-wise. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I personally would like Cormier. I think he's a true champion, and he just seems like a nice guy. He's done really well in heavyweight, really well in light heavyweight, and I think he's very underappreciated by a lot of fans. So I'm pulling for Cormier in that one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of, obviously, the Brock Lesnar Reebok hoodie, what you think of his return, and what you think of the UFC 200 card and fight week in general. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review, and I've got plenty more UFC stuff coming up.